Yet another wonderful day on the West Coast. Today's shenanigans involve the engine. I have a couple of, well, three actually, so more than a couple, of issues that I need to deal with. The engine starts no problem, but when I try to start it, it takes at least 3 and sometimes 4 and 5 crank sessions to get it fired up. Now, there's a couple of issues that may cause that symptom. One is old fuel. There may be old fuel in there, but I did put fresh fuel in the tank, so that just might take some time to cycle through the filter. I might need to replace the filter. I don't know how old they are. I don't know how many hours of fuel they've got in them or through them. And the other issue is glow plugs. There's a piece of metal, a strap of metal called a glow plug rail. It goes from each glow plug and is centrally fed through a wire to provide electricity to make the plugs glow. The number 4 cylinder, the one furthest aft, the glow plug rail has come away from the glow plug. It's no longer, there's a nut that holds it down, and it has come out from underneath that nut, or it was never actually installed correctly. When I went to take that nut out, I've discovered 2 things. One is that 3 of the 4 nuts on the glow plugs are 5/16. That one is actually 8 millimeters, and on top of being 8 millimeters, somebody in the past has tried to remove it with an incorrect size tool, and the corners on the nut itself have been rounded off. So I basically have a round nut that I have to deal with. The other thing that might have caused the issue is a poor electrical contact between the wire that provides the current and the rail itself. So I looked at the contact, and the nut and bolt that hold the wire to the rail are very badly corroded. I don't think they're stainless steel. They might be, but I doubt it. So my solution with that was to try and take it off. Well, the guy who put that originally in there used a slotted screw and nut, and when I went to take it out, I realized that somebody had tried to take it out before. Of course, the slot has been damaged beyond the point of being useful. So once again, my little Dremel Moto tool has come in to save the day, and I simply ground the head of that screw off and removed the connection. And sure enough, underneath, there's a whole pile of corrosion. So that may be the issue. We'll have to get everything back in place to determine if that was the issue or not. But I thought you might be interested in seeing what I'm up against. Come and have a look. This is my happy little engine. This is the offending glow plug. This is the glow plug rail. This is the connector that connects to the glow plug rail, and as you can see, it is very badly corroded. In fact, even in spite of grinding the head off the screw, the nut is welded by corrosion to the back of it. So I'm going to have to get underneath that and cut that off. And this is the port. You can see how, compared to my finger, how big that is, into which I can get a tool or tools to take that nut off. So I can come down here, or I can attempt to go through here, but as you can see, the fuel injector is mostly in the way. So that's pretty much a non-starter right there. So very awkward, difficult job. I don't know if there is a tool made for doing what I need to do, but clearly needs something. The last challenge with the motor I mentioned before is the throttle cable. The throttle body assembly on the motor actually works. The throttle cable seems to be stuck, or there's a problem with it up behind the control head. It's the control head here, and the guts of it are up here. So I can't actually see that because I can't get my head behind here, but it looks to me like, or feels to me, that there's something wrong here. So those are my challenges for the moment, and as always, I will work at it until I succeed. I'll keep you posted. So I've been working away on the engine project. I managed to get the glow plug rail wire disconnected. There's actually a nut that is mechanically fastened to the underside of the rail, so I think welded on or something. I was not able to salvage the screw, so I drilled and tapped that bolt out, and then I realized that I don't have a screw to fit. So the glow plug rail project has come to a standstill for now. I'll have to go and get a screw long enough, wide enough, the right size, in other words, to complete that. So in the meantime, I decided to turn my attention to the glow plug that the rail is supposed to attach to and doesn't. And I managed to get it out without any problem at all. This is the offending beastie right here. That's a glow plug. This is a 1/2 inch. And this, somebody was working on that, and I have no idea what they were thinking. But they have turned that nut perfectly round. Perfectly round. I was reluctant to take the glow plug out because the landing all around where the screws go in is covered in crud, dirt and stuff. I don't have an air compressor or, anything to blow the dirt out of the way. So I had to just be very, very careful, and I'll have to be very, very careful when I put it back in. But for now, I can get that off. So there's something about glow plugs that I am not knowledgeable about. That what appears to be a rounded off nut isn't in fact a nut. I think what happened was that the stud here used to be longer and the nut turned on to that, and somebody tried to take that nut off and twisted the stud off. If I look at the top of it, it looks like it has been damaged. But what I did was I put a vice grip on that shiny bit and then a wrench on the glow plug and managed to pull it apart. So I'm going to assume that glow plug is now kaput, which means I have to make a trip tomorrow down to the local diesel shop, buy a new one. These things are not cheap. And hopefully they have one in stock, so I'll phone before I go, but I'm hoping. In the meantime, I'm going to close the cockpit, and I will probably continue with other projects. So, let's get busy. The time has come to remove some of the old instruments that no longer work or have any connection to anything. They're just taking up real estate, getting in the way and looking ugly. So the first one I removed was the old autopilot controller. It's now gone. The next ones I'm going to move are these guys. This is also for the autopilot. I was just looking at these. This one here has 4 screws in it. This one has 3 screws in it. And they are all different sizes. I don't know who put this thing together, but whoever did it did not have a clue. Nevertheless, I'll take them out, clean it up, and we'll move on. So we've made a little bit of progress today. It doesn't feel like much or look like much, but it's all work that needs to be done. After coming to a roadblock on the engine, I decided to take some of the old electronics and instruments off. I think I just mentioned that, but this is what it looks like. This is the old knot meter. This is the nav sounder. I've actually taken the hardware out so that I can move it, but I think I'm going to keep it. I've got another nav sounder on the nav station, and I like redundancy. The instrument that's going to go in here, my I-70 Raymarine, it also has a depth sounder on it, so I'll actually have 3, but I'm okay with that. Redundancy is awesome. These 2 guys I will fill, and I've also removed this. This was the old autopilot control head. So I will remove the instrument cover because it needs to be replaced. I dropped the tank when I was putting the tanks in and out. I dropped one of the tanks on the plexiglass and shattered it, and it's all checkered and ugly looking anyways. You can't hardly even read the instruments anymore. So I'm going to take the surround off, remove the plexiglass, and I'll drop the instrument panel out, and then I'll paint the entire inside of the cockpit hatch here. It's dirty and gross, and there's been a lot of repairs done on it over the year. I need to fill that one, and then paint it and get it looking all spiffy again. But I think that's about all I'm going to do for today. It's about 3:30 in the afternoon. I want to connect with the diesel shop before the end of the day, so that if things work out, if they've got the part, I can go into town first thing tomorrow, pick it up, come back, and install that in the engine. I've also made another discovery. One of the reasons, perhaps, that the engine isn't firing right away is because there isn't enough voltage going to the heat plugs. I put my voltmeter on it, and I'm getting about 2 to 3 volts on the glow plugs. I think they need more than that to really produce a good glow. So I'm going to have to troubleshoot that, why there is no voltage, and see what I can do about it. It's like one thing uncovers another thing, which uncovers another thing. It just never ends. But I knew that when I got the boat. That's half the fun of boating, isn't it? Anyway, end of the day. You guys have a good one, and I'll see you next time. Fair winds, following seas. God bless.